That's 4 in a row as the Raptors beat the Bulls 127-120 in overtime. I'm Randy Urban. Welcome to Raptors Night Cap. Tonight, we're joined by Amy Audibert, Paul Jones, and Sherman Hamilton. Sherman, that was a huge win tonight. What was your favorite big play in that overtime?
One play, I guess, the turnover, and then Gary Trent Jr. steals the ball back, and all of a sudden, and he knocks down a three. I mean, just the calmness, the poise, everything that he showed in that sequence. Uncharacteristically, Fred had some turnovers late, and it's not something we're used to seeing. But it's just amazing how this team keeps their poise, looks for the next play, doesn't panic, and they're able to come out with consistent, smart decisions after a mistake. So it's a real testament to how this team is led, how they believe in themselves, and how they trust each other, that nobody goes rogue and tries to figure it out on their own.
Yeah. Amy, I like the Barnes going toe-to-toe with Vucevic down low in the overtime. When he banked that in, I was jumping up and down. What did you like?
Yeah, that was something that Nick Nurse just talked about in his press conference. And he said that was maybe one of his best finishes of the year. And, you know, if he can do that consistently, that's another 8 or 10 points, maybe a game for him, which is crazy when you think about it. I got to say, OG's threes, both of them, right? Like, that's just something that I think we all know is capable in there. And I don't know, OG doesn't shoot to miss. It's like he just, and I think part of what OG's big shots are, like, his reaction is just, okay, go. And they were so big too. I think they got everyone a little bit hype in that last final frame. So, I mean, come on, Randy, you can't say pick one. That's not fair.
Well, I mean, all those are good. That step back on DeRozan was obviously that got the overtime going for them. Jonesy, what did you like?
I liked OG's defense. You know, he did a really nice job on DeMar. He didn't bite on any of the fakes. DeMar got him in the lane, and he just went up and contested. And with his length, he made it more difficult for DeMar. And, you know, I thought Chris Boucher did a couple of really nice things in the overtime too. When Scotty went out and Chris came in, you know, pressuring the ball on the inbounds, Levine's layup that he missed, Chris had come over, and, you know, the specter of the block shot was there, just challenging it with another guy running him down. You know, I thought Chris had a nice performance off the bench, and hey, it was a great team win. You know, another again, I'll call it another rock fight. You know, the Raptors don't shoot the ball great. Chicago shoots close to 50%. The Raptors are, I think they were at 42 or something like that. When I look at the numbers, I don't know if any of Amy or Sherm are looking at them, or Randy, but it was one of those
42-5.
Their hustle provided turnovers, and their offensive rebounding gave them second shots. They had, again, look at it. They had 15 more field goal attempts. Randy, if you're a lousy shooter and you're shooting 30%, but you get 15 more shots, if you hit 5 of them and a couple of them are threes, that's 10, 12 points right there.
Yeah, and that leads me, Jonesy, to my next point. Sherm, you know, we know the schedule, right? They're in the middle of 4 and 5 nights, 5 and 7 nights. This is now their third game in 4. But I just felt like the activity level was consistently pretty high, I thought.
Yeah, you know, I thought they did have a good energy, a good motor in this game. And I really thought it got picked up with Chris Boucher and even Precious Achiuwa to a certain extent. He had some impact in that area. But Chris Boucher, I mean, he's bought in lock, stock, and barrel to his role. And he's doing a great job at executing his role consistently. And the Raptors are really missing it when he's not at the level he was at tonight. So it just shows how valuable he is. And I thought in this game, he provided energy on both sides of the basketball. And sometimes that's the spark that other people need. You know, the ability to draw a charge, maybe alter a shot, run the floor, get a rim run, get a layup, get a dunk. Those are the kind of things that Chris Boucher was doing in this game. And I thought he was just excellent. The intangibles, you know, he had a great stat line, but the intangibles are what really, really proved his worth in this game.
And can I just add to that too? I would just say this is like a big narrative around the Raptors this last couple of weeks has been just, you know, their 5 or 6 man rotation. You can tell the guys are getting sick of hearing about it. And I think that was a huge box that was checked tonight. Chris, and I think Delano off the bench, and he was playing some valuable minutes there too. This is what needs to happen, right? It's February. So, I mean, it's right before All-Star break, of course, but just getting those guys back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say 29 rebounds off the bench, right? If you're not going to do anything, rebound the ball, right?
Well, and Chris and Precious combined for 10 of their 22 offensive rebounds. So when you talk about generating those second chance opportunities, those two guys had almost half of those for them. And so I thought that was a huge thing moving forward.
And let's remember, sorry, Jonesy, let's remember, this is the first time all season that Nick has had the complete roster at his disposal. The first time. This is crazy. We're almost into the All-Star break.
And
this is game 50.
Sherm, that's exactly what I was going to say. And, you know, we talked about it on Raptors Today. They take advantage of their length. At the start of the quarter, the second quarter, we saw it at stints during the game. Nick puts 5 guys out there that are between 6'8" and 6'10". And they switch everything. I mean, tonight you had Banton on the floor with Siakam, Barnes, I believe it was Achua, and Anunoby. And you have 3 ball handlers out there when you have Banton, Barnes, and Siakam on the floor. You're able to switch. I mean, they went at Chicago on the inside. Now they force double teams. Chicago's got to come with doubles. You kick it out. OG can make threes. Pascal can make threes. Boucher will shoot threes. Down at the other end, Vucevic gets the ball. Even DeMar at times. They come at him with a long double. I wonder how many deflections they had tonight, just tipping the ball away. There was one in overtime where, I don't remember who it was, but Chicago picked it up on the baseline. It was a smaller player. Might have been Dosumu. Tried to pass it out. Boucher deflects it. It's a 50-50 ball. The Raptors grab it. It turns into a turnover. Like, those are the things they can do. And to Sherm's point, when Nick has a healthy lineup like that, you don't necessarily have to rely on like 4 or 5 bench guys all at once. You put a couple in, spell your starters off, and if they have it going, you let them run with it.
Yeah. Well, Amy, you had the privilege of interviewing Fred after the game. I guess that would be his first interview as an All-Star. Just your thoughts on the journey.
I mean, there's so many, and you don't even look at the box score. You don't even care about his numbers at this point, right? It's like you said, it's the journey. I mean, undrafted to All-Star, 1 of 4 to ever do that. And that was one of my questions is Fred just has this unshakable belief in himself. And it's crazy. The most elite athletes do, the Kobe's and the Tom Brady's and all the Fred VanVleets, because I mean, the whole bet on yourself. I mean, the thing is, you can say bet on yourself, but it just seems like he continues every time to prove to himself and everybody else. And I'm so happy for him. I think everybody is. And I mean, Michael Grange's story, just talking about him when he was in high school and taking out his teammates, and it's just never been easy for him, but he just always shows up and then he gets it done. And definitely a night to remember for a lot of people.
Sure. I imagine, like, I can't remember offhand the 2016 draft, but I imagine he'd go a little bit higher than undrafted if you redraft.
Yeah, that's an understatement, Herbs. Fred has an amazing journey and an amazing story to tell. And I said this on air. I said, when this movie comes out or this book comes out about Fred VanVleet, I'm going to be all over it to see if it's accurate, because I was there for part of that journey. But I just think that when you look at Fred and where he came from in the NBA to be where he is, listen, in the last, 5-6 years, undrafted, he's a G League champ, he's an NBA champ, he signed a big deal that rewarded his hard work, and now he's an All-Star. That's a pretty good 5-6 year span for a guy in the NBA that was undrafted. But when you talk about working hard, believing in yourself, being unshaken, you just imagine how many people over his career said, no, he's too small, he's not athletic enough. And Fred just killed people with the brain and understood how to break people down. I'm just proud of him. And it was great to see DeMar DeRozan there to be able to congratulate Fred. I remember interviewing DeMar for his first All-Star game. We were in Denver in the hotel lobby, and I got to interview him and talking to him about his first All-Star appearance. And he was just over the moon, and you could see it all over Fred tonight. It's just a special moment. Couldn't be prouder for him.
It's something that goes on the resume, Randy, and it doesn't come off. It never comes off. It's like becoming an NBA champion. You can say whatever you want. I'm still a champion. And now Fred can say I'm an all-star. And, we look at his journey and how incredible it is. And I'll use the old line from Bum Phillips, the football coach, who said, I wouldn't say he's in a class by himself, but it doesn't take long to do attendance. When you talk about undrafted players making the all-star game, he's fourth. John Starks, Ben Wallace, and Brad Miller. That's it. And now you put Fred, undrafted players to get into the all-star game. And, as Sherm and Amy talk about, it's that unshakable belief. I don't care what you say. I don't care how rough the water is. The ship is coming in.
Yeah. And it makes that video so much more impactful that he had at his, draft party. And it's like, it gives you chills even more. Obviously it gives you chills watching it, knowing how his career has unfolded to this point, but to now become an all-star, it's like, I watched that in the broadcast. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing. But Amy, Pascal quickly not named an all-star yet. Hopefully he can become a replacement player. It looked like he was a bit more motivated, or he was motivated by not being picked tonight. He was awesome.
Yeah, but and I think that's part of it. He was awesome tonight, but he has been a lot lately.
Yeah,
really, right? The entire month of January. And again, his play, he's treaded triple doubles how many times now? And here was another night tonight. And again, he's when he's on the floor, things happen. I just got to say, you guys, this Fred talk, I want to go out there and play right now. I'm like pumped up. These little speeches you're getting from everybody. But sorry, Pascal, if he's consistently can do this through the remainder of the season, the Raptors are going to win some ball games. Let continue to win some ball games.
They're going to be a tough out, Amy. We keep saying it. We had Tim Legler from ESPN on our radio show today, and he talked about it. Some of our American brethren, colleagues, they watch the league, but they don't watch the league. They kind of watch a little bit of everything, and they don't do the deep dive. And I think Toronto's starting to attract some attention right now. But, we had Tim Legler today, Justin Termini yesterday. All of a sudden, people are taking notice of how hard this Toronto team plays. You look at this win, the win the other night over Miami, another cultured team. And Toronto was, Sherman and I talked about it. Hey, you want to stand here and punch? All right, give me your best punch. Good, I'll take it. Here comes my best punch. Can you take it? And this team is going to be a tough out.
And what's crazy about it when you think about that, Jonesy, just to jump in, is just, when you look at the playoff series, it's physical. It's a lot of basketball, a little bit of time. But when you look at the Raptors last week, they're about to play their second back-to-back. Every game's been tight. They've been on a short rotation, and they're finding ways to win ball games. And I think they're proving that not only to themselves, but like you said, to other people.
When I look at this team, everybody, I just think, when I look across the Eastern Conference, is there any team that if I'm the Raptors that I look at and I say, we can't beat? I think they can compete with anybody in the Eastern Conference. And they're not even where they're going to be if they stay healthy or relatively healthy and they get everybody playing together. So I tell you what, all those teams at the top of the Eastern Conference, I don't know if you want to see the Raptors in the 7th, 8th spot in the playoffs and have to match them up in the first round, because they're going to be a dangerous team if it all comes together the way it's coming together now.
And Randy, right now, the Raptors going into tonight, they were number 2 in the NBA in games that were 3 points or less with a minute to go. Yeah. They had 21 of those games. Tonight was the 22nd, and I think that puts them at the top of the heap. So it just goes to show our point about this team's not going to roll over. They're going to be in it all the way. You go up 10, 15, that's okay. We're going to run you down, and it's going to be close at the end.
Yeah. And guys, just going back to Pascal Siakam, I think this really is worth mentioning on this show. And we saw it in the broadcast a couple of games ago. And that's historic stat line from the month of January. And Amy, you said it, like, he's been doing this in the last 30 years. He's one of only 5 players. LeBron is 2 times. So it's 4 players have done the following during the course of a month: 300 plus points, 125 plus rebounds, 100 plus assists, 30 plus steals, and 10 plus blocks. He shares that stat with Grant Hill, Antoine Walker, and LeBron James twice. I know that's a narrow glimpse into a player's impact because it's just 1 month, but in my head, that is a hugely significant accomplishment.
Agree.
Yeah. All right, anybody else want to jump in?
No, Randy, it just
No, I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
no, it is about impact. It is about impact and what he's doing and what is not measured in that, because we see it watching the games. Dang, it's how hard he plays, like the effort that he expends and puts in, defensively too, rebounding, all of those things. There's effort that comes with that. Those aren't empty calories he's putting up.
Yeah, no, the defense. I'm glad you brought that up, because the defense it doesn't show up on the box as much as all that other stuff. And he's been defending different bodies, right? Yeah. He's a versatile defender, and this team sets the tone on the defensive end, and he's consistently been doing that as well too.
Yeah, and let's remember that Pascal, although was injured, he got a later start. So his tank wasn't as empty as some of the guys he's playing against. So he's got a bit more jump in there, and that's not his fault. He was injured. I'm sure he was working out. But as you know, nothing duplicates NBA basketball. So he is a bit fresher than everybody else, and rightfully so, based on him not having the miles on his legs that the rest of the league has on their legs based on his start of the season.
Well, and the crazy thing is he had 25 tonight. I saw probably 30 to 35 if he missed a couple of those chippies, a couple of those gimmies, those bunnies that he usually makes. Like, his offensive set right now, his package, his game is just so refined. The step back looks so smooth. I'm just so happy for him too, right? Because you see the work that he puts in, and you want guys to be rewarded when they work that hard. Anyway, great show, guys. I really appreciate you doing it, as always. Next game for the Raptors is tomorrow night. That's Friday night against the Atlanta Hawks again. 7:30 p.m. Eastern is the tip. We will see you then.